Hello from Jonathan and from me. Welcome to Friday's programme.
Now, first tonight, people in a quiet corner of Norfolk are coming to terms with worldwide notoriety as the WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange settles into their community.
The controversial web publisher has drawn a media circus to Ellingham Hall near Bungay, where he'll spend Christmas on bail over alleged sex offences in Sweden.
Well, Matthew Hudson's is at Ellingham Hall for us right now. Matthew, as we can see, plenty of media there, and they've got the right person in Julian Assange. He's certainly playing up to them, isn't he?
Yes, he is, Jonathan, and I suppose you could say it would be rather hypocritical of him to try and hide from media who are interested in his business. Having said that, of course, it's pretty unusual to interview somebody who's on bail accused of serious offences. It's very unusual for them to start holding impromptu press conferences. But at the end of the day, that is exactly what Mr. Assange has been doing. And we, the rest of the media, are left with a distinct feeling that we're all dancing to his tune. Take a look at this. With the world's media hanging on his every word, Julian Assange was never going to keep a low profile after being granted bail. So today, journalists were invited onto the lawn of his new temporary home at Ellingham Hall near Bungay. There he held court, more like a world leader than a man facing allegations of sexual assault.
This has been a very successful smear, but ultimately it will not be successful. Ultimately, people will see what is behind them. Now, what is behind them? What are precisely the allegations? Well, we don't know precisely. In fact, the Swedish prosecution refused to give any evidence whatsoever to the British courts.
The beautiful 10-bedroom Georgian mansion is owned by journalist Vaughan Smith. He put up part of the court surety for the WikiLeaks founder and a place to stay while he fights extradition to Sweden, where he's wanted by police.
When it came to there being a requirement for Julian Assange to have a bail address, I was happy. But it was interesting because the police and his legal team and him were looking for somewhere where it would be reasonably safe. And you can imagine, well, you've seen the vast media attention. So this place, sleepy West Ellingham, made sense.
To some, Assange is a hero for his whistleblowing activities. For others, he's a menace. But what impact is his arrival having on this normally quiet part of our region? Terry Reeve worked on local papers here for nearly 50 years.
Bungay people are generally fairly unimpressionable, I would say, in terms of things like that. They tend to focus more on local things and, you know, what's good for Bungay in other ways. It's tourism, it's history.
Indeed, Mr. Assange might have been a little disappointed by the reaction we got in nearby Beccles.
Well, to be honest, that's sort of not really affecting me as such.
Not interested, mate. No. You don't buy fish, so I'm not really bothered.
No, I haven't followed it at all, to be honest with you.
So you're not really bothered about who he is?
No interest whatsoever.
I was quite surprised all the celebrities and what have you that are putting up money for his bail and what have you, but I don't really know much about the bloke, to be honest with you.
This afternoon, Mr. Assange was driven to Beccles to sign on with police as part of his bail conditions. He's also been electronically tagged. Extradition cases take time. He may be staying at the Hall for several months. Mr. Assange says he's happy with the broadband speed here and that WikiLeaks will continue publishing material that many people wish they wouldn't. It's probably safe to say that just a few weeks ago, a few of us had heard of WikiLeaks. Now, its founder, Julian Assange, is one of the most high-profile people in the entire world, and his organisation is being masterminded from this corner of rural Norfolk.
Matthew, today's events are likely to be played out a few more times before Julian Assange leaves Norfolk.
That's right. He has to sign in with the police at Beccles Police Station between 2 and 5 every day, at weekends and the bank holidays that are coming up, or if the roads are impassable, which they might soon be, the police will come here to check that he is where he's supposed to be. I doubt if over the coming days, though, there will be 13-plus satellite trucks wanting to park on the lawn of the Hall, something for which I suspect Mr. Vaughan Smith, the owner, will be rather grateful.
All right, man, I'm sure he will be. Thank you very much indeed for that. Now then, if you've left your Christmas shopping to the last moment, then you'll probably be hoping to get out and do some over the weekend. I say hope. Looking behind me, I'm not sure about that.
That snow, and I'm sure Retailers tonight are bracing themselves for tricky trading conditions amid fears that snow forecast for parts of the region tomorrow could keep customers at home.
Yes, some high street traders, though, think the cold snap could play into their hands as fears over deliveries arriving in time put people off shopping online.
Well, snow is already falling in some areas tonight. In a minute, we'll be talking to Martin Stew about the situation out there on the roads, and Rachel Mackley will have an up-to-date weather report. But first, Martin's been looking at the prospects for a bumper shopping weekend.
Shopping days left, and the pressure to get the perfect present is mounting. With 100,000 expected through the doors at the Centre MK tomorrow, this weekend is make or break for many retailers.
Well, clearly weather has a major impact on access, both from online shopping, as we've already seen, the difficulties of distribution, but also guests getting to the centre. But generally speaking, the retail centres are a lot more easy for customers to get to, and our guest in the UK is very resilient, so people will shop, they will get here, whether they walk or whether they ski even to come here.
But with Arctic winds and snow forecast, there are fears the weather could drive shoppers away and shops under.
I think the snow fell on the 18th of December last year, and the city was closed. A friend of mine who runs a restaurant had a full restaurant booking for the whole of Saturday. Everybody cancelled. He closed down and went home. It was very, very bad, and I think that the council have really listened to our concerns and have made a big effort this year. So I want everybody to remember that we're here and we're open for business.
High street takings in Ipswich and around the region are already down because of wintry conditions earlier this month. Saturday is supposed to be catch-up day. If it snows again, the British Retail Consortium says that won't happen.
But some shopkeepers hope the cold snap could actually be a hidden benefit as shoppers turn away from internet shopping for fear their deliveries won't arrive on time.
Well, we think probably, given that big internet retailers such as Amazon are giving warnings that they can't provide stock for Christmas, I think mostly customers are likely to come into toy shops again and buy things. Christmas is for little people, and if Santa forgets for them this year because it's been cold, then that's a pretty tricky excuse to pull off.
To guarantee the perfect gift, time is ticking. First-class orders from Amazon's warehouse in Milton Keynes have to be placed by tomorrow to make sure they arrive on time. To beat the rush and the snow, many shoppers hit Cambridge today.
Because of tomorrow's forecast, looks a bit grim, so come do the shopping today.
We thought the weather was good, so we thought we won't travel tomorrow.
I don't want to be trudging around in the snow.
And how's the Christmas shopping going?
It's nearly finished. So it was a nice atmosphere with the music playing, and just a few more bits to get, and then I'm finished.
With VAT rising in the new year, retailers know they have to make every penny count.
Well, that's how the shops and shoppers could be affected over the weekend. But what if you're planning to travel?
Well, Martin Stew is at the Cambridge services on the A14 for us now. Martin, trains, planes and automobiles, what sort of plans have they got in store for us this weekend?
Well, Jonathan, most things seem to be OK on paper, but although it's not snowing here yet in Cambridge, just look at this frost. It's freezing cold, and that's surely only going to make things treacherous. Add into that extra cars on the roads in cities and towns going shopping. You're going to have extra traffic on the M1 heading back to see loved ones, plus traffic between the M25 and Stansted along the M11, so it's going to get busier. Talking of Stansted, talking of airports as well, Norwich Airport had to close this morning for an hour while they de-iced the runway. It's now back up and running, and the only flights which have been delayed are actually ones coming in from Amsterdam and Belfast. Stansted and Luton open for business as usual. As for trains, well, there are no scheduled problems on trains, but if the ice gets worse, it is well worth checking with the National Rail Inquiries. My advice to you, unless you absolutely have to, I'd stay inside in the warm.
Not bad advice at all there, Martin. Thank you very much for that. Well, as you can see, it was bad enough today, but the bitterly cold weather looks set to continue along with more snow and ice over the weekend.
Yes, let's join Rachel, who is turning into a very beautiful snowman. What's the latest, Rachel?
Yes, well, today was very cold but mainly dry. Of course, we are seeing some wintry showers now. We've got more snow on the way into tomorrow and indeed on Sunday. So into tomorrow, we've got an organised band of wintry showers pushing out from the southwest. Initially, we thought that was going to go right across the region, but now it looks to be just affecting the south of the region, bringing about 5 centimetres of snow, with a much drier day expected for the rest of us, although of course still bitterly cold. And then into Sunday, we are still at the risk of wintry showers, but nothing too substantial, but it's still bitterly cold. Of course, the risk of widespread ice across the region. And then into the new week, again, it stays very wintry, but of course I'll have more details for you later in the programme.
Thank you.